if you're an employer, right, and I'm going to just make this across, so whether you're a small company which is slowly growing, or a mid-sized company, or even an established company who's kind of been around for some time, what should they do, considering the workplace is evolving, the worker is evolving, the work itself is evolving with AI, right? You mentioned about refreshing, right? So what are the ways in which some basic kind of do's and don'ts, right? How do we make competitive, reasonably compensation reasonably competitive, yet kind of cater to the working dynamics that are happening? So any thoughts there? Some do's, some don'ts, just as a way to think about designing this so-called total rewards custom benefits.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's got to be somewhere in the top three of, I think, most HR and reward professionals for sure. And why just rewards? I would say broadly HR, right? Because this is at the end of the day, it's about really it's what my employee value proposition is, right? What do I stand for as an employer? Full stop. So I think a couple of steps. I think one is to really understand the nuts and bolts of the dollar value that I spent on, see how that fits. There is enough and more data available today to really see, am I in sync with my industry? Am I not in sync? Um, look at look at data rather than just perspectives. Perspectives are good, but when they are backed by data behind it, right, it's even stronger and aids in decision making that much faster. So what is it that fits in my PNL? What is it that I can put together? What is also the organization's plan going forward? Am I in a higher growth trajectory? Am I tech dependent? Am I people dependent? What is my IP here? So all of that at the end of the day comes into the play of how I look into this space. So I think that's an important step. Second, of course, is how much am I listening within the organization? And I'm not just talking, yes, everybody does the employee surveys, all of that, and that's a really good formal way of doing it. But as you know, most of the listening is, it's like ambient noise. It's ambient listening, right? What is coming up in town hall conversations? What are the questions that are coming up anonymously, which maybe reflects the more intense points of view in the organization? What is coming up? Most organizations have informal or company specific social media channels. What is coming up there? What am I reading in the team, Slacks, all of those channels? Of course. And I'm not saying listen purely with the intent of understanding teams, not about, pointing fingers of who said what. Listen to employee experience, employees, candidates who've joined, candidates who took my offer but did not join, employees who are leaving. What are what are they saying? What is attracting people to us? And this is really important. Sometimes what is attracting people to us and why people are leaving are two different things, right? And we often think of it, we talk of attraction, retention in the same bucket. But sometimes what attracts people to roles and why people leave may be two different things, and they may need to be looked at differently. And at the end of the day, I think it's a question of how much. What is my company philosophy at the end of the day? As an organization, what do I want my rewards package to stand for? Right? And that is something which that can flip every year. What can flip every year may be tactics, the underlying philosophy. And I'm not saying it has to stand the test of time for 100 years, but it has to be reasonably to long term, right? From a philosophy perspective. And then how we get there is different. So I think these are important elements that go into that decision process, Nikhil. Right? Obviously, there's always the here and now. There's always the we need to deliver these things. Those are our additional short term realities which we incorporate into it. But I think the really progressive employers who have a long standing tradition of making a difference to their employees and being competitive, I think do these on a fairly live, synchronous kind of a timeline. and make sure they're able to act based on that feedback. So those are some of the things, and it works whether, like you said, I'm a relatively small organization, a big one. How much I spend time on it may differ, but those steps are useful otherwise.
Super. No, I think all very such good points. I like just the fact that you say, hey, have a good pulse of the customer. And it is really not just the surveys, but it's often unspoken things or things at the town hall which are implicitly talked about. And also, I think you make such a good point. It's about the overall philosophy of comp and benefit, right? I mean, I've seen many organizations, I'm sure as you have, which is to say that, look, maybe the salary is not the most competitive element, but we make up by doing A, B, C, D. Like we're the best learning organization, and therefore people will just come back because they make learning as a big, big DNA of who they are. And as you rightly mentioned, those are the things which are very crucial to core, right? You don't want to pivot one to the other because that's someone else is doing that, but keep that longitudinal view. Shreya, are there any open resources you would recommend for both the Gen Z employers to kind of look at as a way to see some trend lines? Are there any sites, books, etc., that you recommend or that you feel are helpful for anybody to look at?
So I think a lot of research is out there on a lot of I think around the world, news consultants make sure that data on compensation increases is fairly publicly available. And my and similarly, a lot of the whether it is the Glassdoors of the world or other forms of social media, a lot of info there. I think my only call out rather than these open sources is they provide a perspective, connecting it to the lived experience of somebody who speaks there, I think adds a richness to that information. Similarly, X% salary increase is great, right? And usually that's the number that sticks in people's minds. But you go to that same survey and then you suddenly see it's different across industries, it's different across how base pay, variable pay, etc. And then that same data point, now backed by a little bit of that underlying picture, is a lot more richer from a candidate or an employee's perspective. So I think my ask would be really, or my not my ask, my viewpoint would really be look, read behind the headline, read behind the AI summary of the article, go into a little bit of the depth, and the takeaway that you'd get is that much richer. That would be my point of view, Nikhil.